There were many mistakes I made when I was setting up my foster care bedroom for the first time. And so I put this video together so that maybe you can jump ahead and not make the same mistakes I did, and many others, by the way. So I'm going to talk through some best practices and also some tips that I have figured out over the years and some things community members have shared with me along the way too. So let's dive in. So here is your bedroom. This is what we're going to work with. For one, I love that it's blank. You want to take out all your stuff out of the bedroom. You want just the kids' things in this bedroom, not your things. You don't want to have to like, hey, can I come in and grab that thing that's mine in your bedroom? We're going to avoid that. I started my first foster care bedroom as a gray room because I thought it was like neutral and kids could personalize it over time. And I came to realize that was like not the best advice. So instead, I would recommend you picking a color scheme, a theme, a design kind of motif, if that's the right word, like polka dots, stripes, leaf work, textures, watercolor, things like that, that you can start with because you don't want it to feel institutional. You want it to feel warm, welcoming, and kid-friendly or teen-friendly, whatever age range you are fostering. So for decorations on the walls, I know I started with like cute pictures and quotes and stuff, which is all good, but they were in frames. And I found very quickly that if kids are throwing things or jumping on the bed, those things can become dangerous. So I would be careful in what you're putting up on the walls and just be thoughtful in that. I recommend just wall decals or posters. A few reasons. First, they're generally safer. Also, you can easily take them off and change them. This allows for personalization when you've gotten to know the kid or they have opinions on how the room is set up. So it's a great starting point and they can get pricey. So I always would look for these at like Home Goods or places like that to see if I can get them on sale. All right, you'll need a bed, of course. This will depend a little bit on what your county allows and the age range you plan to foster. So think about first the policies. Some places only allow so many beds. Some are not allowing bunk beds. I'm definitely hearing from a lot of people that bunk beds are no longer allowed in their county. So check before you buy. And then also think about the age. So if you are going to foster younger kids and see them through different transitions, you may want to look at convertible cribs that can be a crib, a toddler bed, or twin beds that have like railings or like some way to help keep the kids in the bed. Bedding should be, youthful, and this is another place that you can offer choice and personalization. We had, I think, 3 different kinds of bedding when we first started, and then this allowed us, when the kid moved in, be like, do you want the blue bedding or the pink? And so it was like an easy swap. Okay, comfort items are so important, and even for older youth, something friendly in the room, whether that's like a Squishmallow, a Lovey, different stuffed animals, blankies, could even be like fuzzy slippers and fuzzy blankets. All of these things help make it feel more kid-friendly, more inviting. And, there is like some happiness, right? We're not expecting kids to come into the bedroom and smile big and be like, my gosh, thank you. But if they have some, smiling faces at them from stuffed animals, it can feel a little bit more a softer entry. So back to the blankets. These are important for like layering purposes. So every kid, just like every adult, is going to have different sleep preferences. Some may want just a light blanket. Some want lots of heavy blankets and get cold at night. Some really like weighted blankets. So having a variety of blankets can be helpful. You don't have to have them all in the bed, just show them where they are in the closet or a drawer, and then they can use them as they need to. All right, I recommend, of course, having books. We read to our kids every night, or the kids read themselves every night. This is a great point of connection. It can help kind of like calm kids, get ready for bed. And I recommend having a variety of books. I would keep to like simple, happy, playful themes rather than the books about trauma, foster care, grief. Those are important, but I usually don't read those right before bed. And make sure that the kids featured on the front are diverse and are from a variety of backgrounds. And so kids can see themselves in your home. My other pro tip is to keep nostalgic books on hand. Yes, not all of them are super fun to read. They're kind of boring, feel outdated, but kids may recognize them. Things like Goodnight Moon or Cat in the Hat, they may remember seeing that on their own bookshelf at home or at grandma's house, and this can be a special point of connection and can provide some comfort before bed, hearing a story that they're used to hearing. I tend to not keep too many toys in the bedroom because I feel like it becomes a distraction at bedtime, but you do you. If I have any type of like toys, it would be really sensory tools. Those maybe be like fidget toys and things like that. I do often keep those in the bedroom. So just something to think about. You may not want to have a whole dollhouse in the bedroom. If you are needing activities for the bedroom because maybe kids do take a long time to fall asleep or are waking up early, you can think about things like coloring books, activity books, sticker books, like seek and find type books like an I Spy or Where's Waldo. Those types of things can be helpful for kids of all ages if they have trouble sleeping at night. You may also use the bedroom as a calm down space, and so those types of activities can be helpful for calming down. All right, I love a good rocker or glider. We got rid of ours a while ago when we had older kids. I do regret getting rid of it because I would still use it today. But having a rocking chair is so helpful for infants to feed, to sing to them, to, rock them to sleep, but also toddlers and older kids do like the feeling of being rocked. It can be incredibly soothing, and kids may feel more comfortable falling asleep with you in a rocker than them asleep in their bed alone. So it's just something to think about. It can be a really helpful tool. All right, you can immediately add like warmth and comfort and a little bit of fun with a rug. Of course, there's so many different kinds of rugs, but I would recommend something that is not very expensive and easy to clean. Yes, I have a furry rug in our bedroom right now, and I regret all of it, but the kids love it, so here we are. But these are kids, so you might get pee on it, vomit, all that stuff, spilling nail polish, makeup. So it's great to have a rug. It adds warmth and comfort and coziness to a bedroom, but I would make sure it is somewhat like cleanable or replaceable. If you aren't doing a rocking chair but still want a space for maybe an older kid to crash or get some wiggles out before bed or sit and read, a beanbag or like a crash pad can be really helpful in a bedroom. And of course, next to the bed, have a space for the things they may need at night. Not every kid may feel comfortable getting out of bed, navigating their bedroom, coming to get you, going to the bathroom at night, all that stuff. So try to set them up for success here. So having like water, so a water that if it tips over, it doesn't necessarily spill all over their bed. Learn from a previous one of my mistakes. Not every sippy cup is leak proof. So fun fact. You may want to have charging cords here. You may want to have a sound machine or like okay to wake lights. A digital clock can be helpful because that's more accessible to more kids. And these tools can be really important because kids may come to you without any type of sleep schedule. Maybe they did, but the trauma of being removed from their family has really disrupted sleep. And so you might be starting over. And so those types of tools can really help kids sleep for a full night. So for older kids who may have experienced food insecurity, it can be helpful to keep food in the bedroom. And I know this is like a very controversial topic, but what you might find is for kids who have experienced food insecurity, they hide and hoard food in their bedroom. Sometimes just, talking to them and working with them and, over several weeks, this may diminish and stop completely. But for some, it can be a persistent need to have the food close at all time. I mean, I've even heard from adults that still keep food in their bedroom. It's comfort, it's safety. So it may make sense to meet them where they're at with a mini fridge, some closed containers, a covered trash can. These types of things can be really supportive and can help diminish the hiding and hoarding, which can lead to grossness, mold, bugs, all smells, all that. So the idea is that we are providing a safe way for them to have food close by. And as kids become school age, it may also be helpful if there's room in your bedroom to have a desk. This is a dedicated place for them to do their classwork that's distraction free. And it can also be a place for them to do artwork or creative writing and journaling. It can just be helpful to have a place for them to put some of their important paperwork or documents. Sometimes foster parents will include like a welcome binder, information, pamphlets, that could be helpful with like crisis hotlines. It can be good to have a place for all of those things. And for lighting, this is where the layering comes in again. So I definitely missed the mark when I first started with this, but because I just had like the one light on and off, guys. I never was a parent before. I was clueless. So if you are also clueless, it can be helpful to have layers of light, meaning you'll have your main light, and then you may have like a small table light or desk light, a reading light, like a handheld flashlight or night light. And I love projector lights. These are great for many ages, and I also find that they kind of are more safe than like the string lights or the strip lights. Those can be great, by the way, but we were a treatment foster home, and so safety was always like top of mind. And so the projection lights were generally safer in our home. If you want to take it up a notch, you could have lights that play lullabies or soft music, or you can stream sleep stories, like sleep podcasts on them, music. There are a variety of options out there, but having options is where to start. As you get to know kids and their needs, you can modify, but having some layered options so that kids who don't want to sleep in the complete dark can have those. The projection lights that like move are also nice, because if a kid can't fall asleep or gets up at night and can't fall back asleep, you can put the projector lights on and just say, hey, like, it's okay to just rest. You can watch the stars and rest for right now, rather than close your eyes and go to bed. You know, that's high pressure and can make it even harder for them to fall asleep. So the lights can be a way for, you know, some movement and some interesting things to watch while they try to fall back to sleep. One more thing I will add with lights is you may want to include blackout curtains just to help with the kids that wake up at 5 a.m. So having blackout curtains can help encourage a full night of sleep for you as well. Okay, not shown in this video are obviously your windows, your curtains, your safety features, like your outlet covers, things like that. You'll need to get a checklist from the licensing worker, and that will tell you all the safety requirements for the bedroom. So ask for that checklist early, because you may find that you have to do some like maintenance updates or construction even to make sure your bedrooms are compliant. Hopefully this gets you started with setting up your foster care bedroom. Let me know if you have any questions. If you're looking to dive a little bit deeper on the topic or talk to me personally, I offer DMs on Patreon. You can get a free week. Just cancel so you don't get charged. But if you do want to stick around, it's only $1 or $7 per month. The tiers are the same. It's really just based on your available resources. So I hope to see you there, and let me know, what do you want to see next? What are you thinking about? I know so many of you are getting licensed right now. You're setting up your homes. Feel free to ask any questions.